Well, good afternoon, and thanks for watching THV 11 News at Noon. I'm Amanda Yeager in for Michael Aaron. Another beautiful fall day here in Arkansas, but before we get to that, we have to talk about something very important. You know we're talking about the Hogs. We are just 2 days away from their big game against Texas A&M, which of course you can watch right here on THV 11. And we are pulling out all the stops. We've got a rally on the road, massive crew from THV 11 headed to Arlington, including Mercedes McKay. We got Hannah Williams. They're both searching for some Hog fans this afternoon.
We're in Texas, y'all! Woo! Hannah and I are starting THV 11's rally on the road. We're pumped. We're just a couple of the many team members that are going to be here cheering on the Razorbacks. We left at the crack of dawn. We got our snacks. We're ready for Buc-ee's. We're ready for Texas.
Woo! And guess what? We are in Texas right now, so we thought the best way to start our journey in Texas was, of course, by calling the Hogs.
Dad, let them hear y'all.
Woo!
Ooh! Pig suey! Ooh! Pig suey! Ooh! Pig suey! Razorbacks!
Well, give us another woo pig. What do you say? Mercedes and Hannah, thank you for that. And of course, my partner in crime, Hayden Balgavy, also on his way to Arlington this afternoon. We're going to have so much more from them tonight at 5, 6, and 10. Get ready for a ride. They won't be alone either. Tyler Cass, Sierra Clark, both making the trek to AT&T Stadium this weekend for our rally on the road. And the real fun begins tomorrow morning on Wake Up Central and will continue throughout the day and into our Hog Zone special at 6:30. All leading up to that big game, which is set for 2:30 on THV 11. It wraps up with extensive team coverage following the game. And of course, back here at home, we're busy too. Hog fans across the state hoping to get their hands on some gear ahead of the game, but that's easier said than done. The local businesses trying hard to keep up with the enthusiasm and the demand. At Domestic, sales have increased by 70% since the Hogs winning streak began a few weeks ago, and the uptick couldn't come at a better time as the store, like so many others, continues to struggle due to COVID-19.
T-shirts alone aren't going to pay the bills here, but T-shirts alone are bringing people into our store. And once they're in, you know, they may see a solo stove, which is great for tailgating. People are already getting Christmas ideas, which is fantastic. So the timing is really solid for us.
Businesses say they're also still facing a supply chain issue. So regardless of where you shop, get your gear quick or be prepared for some slim pickings. And you might want to think about picking up some fall hog gear, but you also might be thinking, should I hold off? Like, what's the weather situation, Nathan? What are we seeing? Because it feels like we got two different seasons in the morning to the afternoon to the night.
It's typical fall weather here in Arkansas, Amanda. We've got those cool mornings, but then we warm things up through the afternoon. So you may start off with a jacket or sweater right around sunrise, but then by the afternoon, you're in a t-shirt and shorts. It is beautiful out here in THV 11 Weather Garden right now. This morning, start off on the cool side. I had the windows open last night and I woke up around 3 or 4 o'clock because I got chilly and I shut that window because look at the numbers. We started off the day with temperatures into the mid to upper 40s for a large part of central Arkansas. 43 in Arkadelphia, 41 in Fayetteville, 45 was the low in Clinton, and 48 in Searcy. Visible satellite, not a cloud in the sky. The temperatures have rebounded into the low to mid 70s. And the winds are lower than what we saw this time yesterday, kicking in from the north-northeast about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Dew points, very comfortable. Here's your forecast today. Marvelous weather, lots of sun, highs upper 70s to the lower 80s down to the south. I'll have your weekend forecast and also what's happening in Texas with that Razorback forecast a little bit later.
All right, let's turn now to COVID-19. The FDA granting an emergency use authorization for the booster shot last night, and now the CDC is meeting this afternoon in the final step for approving a third dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Natalie Brand has the very latest for us.
The FDA has authorized a booster shot of the Pfizer COVID vaccine for certain individuals. It applies to Americans 65 and older, as well as people 18 to 64 who are at high risk for severe COVID-19. It's also authorized for people whose work puts them at higher risk, such as nursing home employees. For now, the FDA rejected Pfizer's request for booster shots for everyone 16 and older.
There's a concern about younger people, particularly men, because of a very rare adverse event called myocarditis.
A CDC advisory panel still has to take its vote on booster shots. The committee is meeting again today.
Like you, I'm approaching this decision with an interest in doing what's right for the public health.
The Biden administration says it's ready to roll out the booster shots as soon as they're approved, possibly later this week.
As President of the United States, my first responsibility is to protect the American people.
The CDC is forecasting COVID hospitalizations are likely to decrease over the next few weeks. But Dr. Anthony Fauci warned Major Garrett on the CBS News podcast The Takeout there's still work to be done to get millions of Americans their first shots.
If we don't get the people vaccinated who need to be vaccinated, and we get that conflating with an influenza season, we could have a dark, bad winter.
About 75% of all eligible Americans, those 12 and older, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. More than 64% are fully vaccinated. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
The FDA is expected to consider booster shots for the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccines soon. And vaccines are the only way to avoid a fall and winter surge, according to Governor Asa Hutchinson. Right now, more than 1.3 million Arkansans have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and another 299,000 are waiting for their second dose. Meanwhile, cases and hospitalizations continue to decline here in Arkansas. The Department of Health reported over 1,400 new cases on Wednesday. And yes, that is still a lot of people, but our active cases do continue to drop. Just under 13,000 Arkansans are still battling the virus. And of that number, 967 of them are fighting from a hospital bed. And since the vaccine was first rolled out, there's been a growing debate about natural immunity to COVID-19 versus immunity from the shot. In fact, as recently as just this week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis cited a new study saying natural immunity is actually better. But is that true? Brandon Lewis verifies.
The COVID-19 vaccine is widely available and provides a high level of protection against the virus's worst symptoms. But one recent study cited by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suggests natural immunity may be more effective than only getting vaccinated.
You know, Israel did a study and they compared the protection from a previous infection versus the Pfizer protection. They found the Pfizer did provide protection, but the natural immunity was far stronger.
So let's verify. Did a study in Israel find natural immunity provides stronger protection against COVID-19 than the Pfizer vaccine? Our sources are Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease professor, Dr. Stuart Ray, an infectious disease expert at Johns Hopkins Hospital, and Maccabi Healthcare Services. DeSantis appears to be referring to research conducted by a well-regarded insurer in Israel. MHS reviewed charts of its 2.5 million members to find people who tested positive for the Delta variant. It then compared how many were previous COVID survivors and had natural immunity with how many were only vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine. Researchers concluded natural immunity lasts longer and offers stronger protection than the Pfizer vaccine alone. While the researchers' findings are neither peer-reviewed nor published in a medical journal, it is consistent with data on other variants by different researchers.
The Israeli experience is often there early, and we can learn from it.
Doctors point out the researchers didn't factor in those who died from COVID-19 before they could get natural immunity.
So their natural immunity is a consequence of having survived COVID. But I don't think our strategy should be for people to get natural immunity, because people will die on the path to natural immunity, whereas vaccination is a safe way.
Also, DeSantis doesn't mention that that same study also found people with natural immunity and who received at least one dose of the vaccine had the most protection. So it's true that an early study in Israel did find natural immunity provides stronger protection against COVID-19 than the Pfizer vaccine. But it's also dangerous to obtain, and survivors can also benefit from getting vaccinated. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. To receive daily fast facts to your phone, text Verify to 202-410-8808. And to sign up for our newsletter, visit verifythis.com/email.
And speaking of the vaccine, there are several opportunities to get the shot over the next couple of days. First one, tomorrow, Pine Bluff. From 2 to 6 p.m., healthcare workers will be giving out the 2-dose Pfizer vaccine at the Pine Bluff Lighthouse Charter School. That's located on West 2nd Avenue. Anyone 12 and older can get that shot. But if you are under 17, you will need a parent or guardian with you. Then in Little Rock, there will be a free clinic at the Little Rocktoberfest at War Memorial Stadium on Saturday night. They will be giving out the 1-dose Johnson & Johnson shot to anyone 18 and up, and that is from 6 to 9 p.m.